Good day! Welcome to this short video as we try to understand Chapter 10, Crafting the Brand Positioning. I am Nina Zyril N. Lim, a student of Ateneo Graduate School of Business, and I will discuss on how to have a compelling, well-differentiated brand position that requires a keen understanding of consumer needs and wants, company capabilities, and competitive actions through creation of a powerful brand positioning. In this video, we are going to focus specifically on deciding strong brand positioning, which requires: number 1, choosing a frame of reference by identifying the target market and relevant competition. Number 2, identifying the optimal points of parity and points of difference brands associations given that frame of reference. And number 3, creating a brand mantra summarizing the positioning and essence of the brand. By the end of the video, I will also cite my personal application of the bullseye concept. Before we begin, what exactly is positioning? Positioning is the act of designing a company's offering and image to occupy a distinctive place in the minds of the target market. The goal is to locate the brand in the minds of the consumers to maximize the potential benefit to the firm. A good brand positioning helps guide marketing strategy by clarifying the brand's essence, identifying the goals it helps the consumer achieve, and showing how it does so in a unique way. Everyone in the organization should understand the brand positioning and use it as a context for making decisions. One result of positioning is the successful creation of a customer-focused value proposition, a cogent reason why the target market should buy a product or service. In my given example of Goldilocks value proposition, define their value proposition through the years with target customers. Their products, which have succeeded in firmly establishing Goldilocks as a pioneer and trendsetter in the bake shop industry through constant innovations in their products and services. Originally, their stores offers only baked products, but in 2003, the Pinoy Deli line was introduced. They began selling ready-to-eat tinuguan, lechon paksiw, and laing, in which has a 1-year shelf life, with no added preservatives and a shelf-stable, meaning no refrigeration needed. This represents a revolution in freshness and convenience. This also changed the original target customers from not only middle-class families during celebrations, but also the working force and their families who does not have any time to cook their meals. Up to 1986, Goldilocks has only 8 stores. Today, the network has grown to some 400 stores. Their extensive store locations actually began emerging in 1991. They realized that to fulfill their strategic growth plans, they had to partner with highly motivated entrepreneurs who shared Goldilocks ideals. This is when they launched their franchising program, and the phenomenal expansion that Goldilocks has achieved since then is evidence of the working relationship they have with their franchisees. This gave them a chance to offer their wide variety of fresh baked Pinoy products and Pinoy Deli line in their extensive store locations at affordable prices. In crafting the brand positioning concept 1, choosing a frame of reference is by identifying the target market and relevant competition. The competitive frame of reference defines which other products a brand competes with and which does be the focus of competitive analysis. Decisions about the competitive frame of reference are closely linked to target market decisions. Deciding to target a certain type of consumer can define the nature of competition, because certain firms have decided to target that segment in the past or plan to do so in the future. Or maybe because the consumers in that segment may already look to certain products or brands in their purchase decisions. Competitors are companies that satisfy the same customer need. As for the Nescafe 3-in-1 coffee, its well-known competitors in the Philippines are Copico and Sanli Coffee in the instant coffee industry business. Once marketers have fixed the competitive frame of reference for positioning by defining the customer target market and the nature of the competition, they can define the appropriate points of difference and points of parity associations. Optimal points of parity and points of differences brand associations should be identified and determined. So what exactly are the points of parity? Points of parity are attributes or benefit associations that are not necessarily unique to the brand, but may in fact be shared with other brands. These types of associations come in three basic forms: category, correlational, and competitive. As with the case of Tide detergent product, its category point of parity is laundry detergent. What are the points of differences? Points of differences are attributes or benefits that consumers strongly associate with the brand, positively evaluated, and believe that they could not find to the same extent with a competitive brand. As with the case of Tide detergent product again, its points of difference is that it gives freshness and fragrance, cleans well without irritations, keeps hands soft and superior whiteness, but its very famous points of difference is that it can wash large number of loads of laundry with only a small amount of laundry detergent used, therefore giving more savings to its customers. Three criteria determine whether a brand association can truly function as a point of difference. Desirable to customers. Consumers must see the brand association as personally relevant to them. Deliverability or deliverable by the company. The company must have the internal resources and commitment to visibly and profitably create and maintain the brand association in the minds of consumers. The product design and marketing offering must support the desired association. And the last is differentiability, differentiating from competitors. Finally, consumers must see the brand association as distinctive and superior to relevant competitors. To build a strong brand and avoid the commodity trap, marketers must start with the belief that you can differentiate with anything. Points of parity versus points of difference. In my first example of three products, Nescafe Dolce Gusto, Nespresso, and Coffee Bean Tea Leaf Coffee Pods. This table shows their points of differences and points of parity. Points of parity is the coffee pods are convenient, with same product characteristics, and all providing quality coffee in their products. Advertising platforms are the same both online and physical for them. Points of differences for Dolce Gusto, product variety in their machine may be hot and cold. Coffee and tea blends are both available. Product pricing is 435 pesos per one box of coffee pods, which has 16 pods, which will result to 27.18 pesos per pod. Among the three, this is the most affordable coffee pod. Availability is nationwide with various retail outlets. Products are also available in Lazada and Shopee. Points of differences for Nespresso product variety, their machine can only be hot, and coffee blends are only available. Product pricing is 499 per box of coffee pods, which has 10 pods, resulting to 49.9 pesos per pod. This is the most expensive coffee pod out of the three mentioned. Availability is limited to Nespresso boutiques in malls only. Products are sometimes available in Lazada but in limited quantities and sellers. Points of differences for Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf are product variety in their machine can only be hot, but coffee and tea blends are both available. Product pricing is 350 pesos for one box of coffee pods, which has 10 pods, which results to 35 pesos per pod. This is actually mid-range. Availability is limited to CBTL outlets only. Products are sometimes available in Lazada, but like Nespresso, with limited quantities and limited sellers. In another example of differentiating points of parity and points of differences, here are the two products of Apple and Sony. The table shows the points of differences and points of parity. Points of parity is that the communication tools of Apple and Sony are ebook content and online and retail distribution. Points of differences for Apple is powerful in terms of online distribution, design-oriented, powerful terms of communication. Points of differences for Sony is it's powerful in retail stores, available almost everywhere, quality-oriented, and very present in reading materials and media devices. To further focus brand positioning and guide the way their marketers help consumers think about the brand, firms can define a brand mantra. A brand mantra is a 3 to 5 word articulation of the heart and soul of the brand, and is closely related to other branding concepts like brand essence and core brand promise. Designing a brand mantra should have 3 criteria: communicate, simplify, and inspire. A good mantra should clarify what is unique about the brand. It may also need to define the category or categories of business for the brand and set brand boundaries. Simplify, an effective brand mantra should be memorable. For that, it should be short, crisp, and vivid in meaning. Inspire. Ideally, the brand mantra should also stake out ground that is personally meaningful and relevant to as many employees as possible. Brand mantras are powerful devices. By highlighting the points of differences, they provide guidance about what products to introduce under the brand, what ad campaigns to run, and where and how to sell the brand. Their influence can even extend beyond these tactical concerns. Brand mantras can guide the most seemingly unrelated or mundane decisions, such as the look of a reception area and the way phones are answered. In effect, they create a mental filter to screen out brand inappropriate marketing activities or actions of any type that may have a negative bearing on customers' impressions. Brand mantras clearly communicate what the brand is and what it is not. Here are classic examples of brand mantras for popular brands: BMW, Disney, Nike, and McDonald's. Once they have fashioned the brand positioning strategy, marketers should communicate it to everyone in the organization so it guides their words and actions. One helpful schematic with which to do so is a brand positioning bullseye. A brand's bullseye provides content and context to improve everyone's understanding of the positioning of a brand in the organization. Here we look at the book's hypothetical example and brand positioning bullseye. In the inner 2 circles is the heart of the bullseye. Points of parity and points of differences should be made as specific as possible without being too narrow. Points of parity and points of differences should be constructed in terms of the benefits a customer would actually derive from the product or service. Points of difference should also be stated in positive aspirational terms like irresistible taste, superior value, tireless customer service, and an unimpeachable trust. Points of parity are often stated in more muted terms to recognize the potential deficiencies they represent, such as sufficiently accessible, appropriately relevant, and fairly priced. In the next circle are the substantiators or reasons to believe, attributes or benefits that provide factual or demonstrable support for the points of parity and points of difference. Finally, the outer circle contains 2 other useful branding concepts: the brand values, personality or character, which are intangible associations that help to establish the tone for the words and actions of the brand, and the executional properties and visual identity, more tangible components of the brand that affect the way customers see it. 3 boxes outside the bullseye provide useful context and interpretation. To the left, 2 boxes highlight some of the input to the positioning analysis. One includes the consumer target and a key insight about consumer attitudes or behavior that significantly influence the actual positioning. The other provides competitive information about the key consumer need the brand is attempting to satisfy and some competitive products or brands that need suggest. To the right of the bullseye, one box offers a big picture or summary view of the output, the ideal consumer takeaway if the brand positioning efforts are successful. For my personal application of the brand positioning bullseye, I chose Jollibee, since I have been a consistent customer of this company, specifically their product Jollibee Chicken Joy, which is my favorite. In here, you can see I made the Jollibee bullseye. I have identified the brand mantra as Panlasang Filipino at home, so Jollibee local heartwarming food experience. The points of parity are fast service, locally involved, quality systems, and affordability. Points of differences is family-oriented, work environment with advertising and marketing, Crispylicious and Juicylicious product, unusual menu pairing with that works. It loves kids and the sense of Filipino triumph. I have also identified substantiators for the points of parity and the points of differences. In the outer circle, values and personality and character of the brand and executional properties and visual identity are also identified. Consumer target, consumer insight, consumer need state, competitive product set, and consumer takeaway were also identified.
Anak, isa pang Chicken Joy?
Isa pa! Isa pa! Isa pa? Isa pa? Isa pa! Chicken Joy! Isa pa! Isa pa! Isa pa! Chicken Joy! Isa pa! Isa pa! Isa pa! Chicken Joy!
Sarap ng Crispylicious, sarap ng Juicylicious. Sarap ulit-ulitin.
Isa pa! Isa pa! Isa pa! Chicken Joy!
Jollibee Chicken Joy, 76 pesos lang.
In our summary and conclusion, in deciding strong brand positioning creation, these steps should be taken into consideration. Number 1, choosing a frame of reference by identifying the target market and relevant competition. Number 2, identifying the optimal points of parity and points of difference, brand associations given that frame of reference. Number 3, creating a brand mantra summarizing the positioning and essence of the brand. Number 4 is brand positioning bullseye, one helpful schematic marketers use to communicate their brand positioning strategy. Again, this has been Nina Zyril N. Lim, a student of Ateneo Graduate School of Business, saying thank you for spending your time in watching my video. Goodbye! Until next time, God bless everyone!